Hey everyone, I'm so excited to have you join us today. If you enjoy, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's video, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our future content. We're building an awesome community here, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. The third round has started. The scenery, unloaded before them, resembled a village on the brink of collapse, almost like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. They said, "Shit! We got dragged over to the other world again. It's not a forest this time? Where are we? The buildings are destroyed, but it looks like a village." Village? My ass! It's just a ruin at this point. Look over there, the village is surrounded by fortress walls. It really is. What's this crystal things? Just what will we be doing for the third round in a place like this? Ryu, who was away from them, said, "It's unfamiliar place, and everyone looks anxious. The only one who's relatively normal is Cho Jung-sik, right?" However, Jung-sik stood apart from the rest. The others said, "Isn't it the Our Region representative?" "That's right. Life is documentary. They say he was some gang boss. He even waved a sword around and threatened us into voting for him. Black Scythe should have been the representative, not that murderer." Jung-sik felt raped and said, "You bastards, shut your mouths. What's he swearing for? Is acting like people don't swear because they're unable to or something?" Which increased his anger and pointed a finger at them and said, "Which of your bastards is running their mouths?" I knew that would happen. If only that tame and angel bastard had kept quiet. Suddenly, a towering man approached, bowing at 90-degree angle, capturing Jung-sik's attention. "Young Min, what are you doing? Life is a documentary. Boss of the Jung-sik gang, Cho Jung-sik, I come to greet you." A short pause followed as Jung-sik watched Young Min, trying to understand the meaning behind his respectful speech. Jung-sik said, "Are you a family?" He replied, "Not yet. I am Young Min in my 20s, who hopes to become a gangster." "What? He hopes to become a gangster? What sort of insane bastard is this?" With a look of admiration, he said, "You're my role model. The Jung-sik gang is the one I really wanted to join. Why do you want?" With his majestic stature, Young Min prostrated before Jung-sik. "I will serve you as my Hyung-nim for the rest of my life. Please take me in." Jung-sik couldn't help but burst into laughter and said silently, "I've seen many lunatics in my life. This is my first time seeing this kind of lunatic. I like this spirit." Jung-sik said, "Get up. Is something wrong with your eyes? Don't you know my reputation was ruined? You're still seeing you will serve me." Young Min replied, "I don't care about that at all. I respect you. As long as you take me in, I don't care what does people think of me." A wide smile spread across Jung-sik's face and said, "I like your answer. Fine, I'll take a responsibility and raise you." Young Min bowed again. "Thank you. It's an honor." The others said, "Did he just came up with life as a documentary? Is he insane?" Ryo, who was watching from a distance, said, "He teamed up with Jung-sik this time as well. This is good." At that moment, the angel appeared, attracting everyone's attention. Have all of humans gathered? Let's see. Are there about 90 less people today? Main quest. Protect the relics for 3 hours. Entire region. Participants. 856,030,200. Achievers. 214,007,550ths. ESKS 45.5 area. Participants 4,900. Achievers 1,225ths. The participants were wondering, do we really have less people? How did this happen? The angel said, "There's no way you can fresh humans work suddenly drop dead. It looks like you fought each other in the real world. I would worry myself sick with how much you fight each other." Someone cried out, "Wait! Everyone look at the number of anticipants that can finish this round." What? It's reduced to almost a fourth. Miss Angel, this is strange. Isn't this an error? As people grew perplexed, the angel covered its mouth with its wings and burst into laughter. What do you want from us? It's not an error. It looks like you're flustered because at less people are able to finish. But did you all forget something? Only half many survive each round, but everyone survived the last round. So doesn't it make sense that only a fourth should survive this round? It was absurd, but no one dared to argue. Challenging the angel's whims might make their heads explode. The angel sad. Right then, I'll explain the third round now. Monsters from my army will appear from the castle gates every 30 minutes and target the relic in the center of the village. There'll be a total of 4 waves, and everyone here has to work together to protect the relic. You'll receive additional rewards if you protect the relic for 3 hours. If you're unable to protect it, you'll receive a massive penalty. Finally, regardless of whether you success in protecting it, you'll be ranked by the number of monsters you defeated. Jungsik said, "So all I have to do is scare a lot of monsters? This is wrong would be easy since I have the authority of command." The angel gaze shittled to Jungsik. A mischievous smile crossing her lips, she said, "I almost forget. The representative chosen less round was Life is a documentary, right? He can use the authority of command from this round onward, but I bet everyone here is curious about what'll happen if the representative dies. If the representative dies from a monster's or natural causes, their seat becomes empty. Whoever! What if they get killed by another player? In that case, the killer is immediately made the region representative, and they receive 10 full uses of authority of command. The gaze of the onlookers instinctively converged on Jungsik, a mixture of hostility and curiosity, and she kept saying, "Okay then, monsters, we appear in 10 minutes. Work together for 3 hours and survive, though I'm not sure if you'll be able to." The angel disappeared along with the light, leaving behind only a laugh. After confirming that the angel had completely disappeared, Jungsik shouted, "Shit, you damned angel!" His frustration was evident. However, this violent attitude has only drawn more eyes toward him. Then Jungsik said, "You bastards, come at me! I will take all of you on, starting with whoever comes at me first." There were 3 people who took the weapons out from their inventory, and they said, "You're acting like you're strong when you can only use the authority of command in 10 times. She definitely said, whoever killed this bastard would become representative, right? It'd be better if I became the representative." The time had come for Ryo to step forward. Jungsik was taken aback as Ryo approached, wielding a massive scythe. Said, "What are you doing, Black Scythe?" Ryo said, "Don't be afraid. I just want to talk." "Afraid? What are you talking about? Say whatever you come here to say. I'll say this in advance, but if you plan to threaten me into bowing my head..." And before he finished, Ryo said, "I have a suggestion. I think you're in a difficult situation right now." Jungsik looked at Ryo, his eyes filled with suspicion. Ryo said, "I will protect you." Jungsik's eyes widened in astonishment at unexpected offer and said, "What?" Ryo replied, "I'll protect you so that other players can target you. It's a means I'll take responsibility and escort you one-on-one." Jungsik was left speechless, lost in thought. The others said, "What? Black Scythe Well Protect Life is a documentary? Then does that mean we have 2 Face Black Scythe as well?" Although Jungsik, a non-job player, might be underestimated, the Black Scythe was by any means an easy opponent. Even if a horde charged at him, a single swing of his massive scythe could send their lives into oblivion. Jungsik said silently, "To think that name Black Scythe would be this revered. Just looking at their reactions, the offer is really too tempting. But there will always be a price to pay." Jungsik said to Ryo, "What do you want in return?" "Nothing much. You'll follow all my commands. That's the condition." Confusing clouded Jungsik's face. "He's telling me to become his subordinate." Jungsik asked, What's the reason you're making this offer? I can't tell you. By commands, what type of commands do you mean? I can't tell you that either. You just have to follow my orders unconditionally. Being told to follow orders without knowing their nature, Jung-sik couldn't help but feel dissatisfied. After all, he had his pride as leader, guiding his subordinates. Jung-sik was about to write his middle finger as usual and curse the quickly reconsidered and said, "Hold on, what if I say no? No way he wouldn't violently attack in broad daylight, would he?" Ryo said, "Choose, order, people are waiting your response." After much contemplation, Jung-sik finally spoke on low voice, "I will reject your offer." Ryo didn't faze Jung-sik's response. It was exactly as expected. Ryo thought to himself, "As expected, I knew this would happen. There's no way this bastard would let go of his pride that easily." The others said, "He rejected it? When if he'd accepted, he'd have been able to hunt safely?" I guess his pride was hurt when he was told to follow orders. It looks like his pride is more important than his life. Or maybe he thinks nothing of us. Ryo said silently, "This is progressing exactly as it did in my previous life. Then what I must do now is draw the line completely." Ryo raised his gaze and looked at Jung-sik. "Fine. If you reject, then there's nothing I can do. Since you rejected, I won't pay any more attention to it. Whether you die or not, that's none of my business." Leaving only those words behind, Ryo calmly turned away, leaving the other players murmuring, "You heard that? The Black Scythe wouldn't care? Then we can target the gangster bastard as we please?" Sensing the unsettling atmosphere, Jung-sik secretly regretted his decision and said, "Shit. Should I have just accepted the offer?" At that moment, a message appeared before everyone's eyes. "The first wave will commence shortly. Prepare for the first wave and protect the relic. After 30 minutes, regardless of how many monsters remaining, the second wave will proceed. Time remaining until round end. 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. Jung-sik said silently, "I can't fight together with those targeting me. Since it's a personal mission anyway, I have no choice but to do this alone." Jung-sik turned his head to the side and said, "Where is the bastard going?" Black Scythe stood at a different village entrance. The sound of a long horn whistle seemed to echo, and monsters emerged from the other side of the village. Naturally, Jung-sik's eyes widened at the sight. There were many monsters than he had anticipated. Jung-sik retreated to a safer spot, away from the surging green tide. He planning to wait in the village for a while, observing the situation before engaging in battle, and said, "This is crazy. I'll hide for now and observe the situation. But why isn't Black Scythe moving? Is he really going to fight the goblins alone at the entrance? Even if the entrance is narrow, it's wide enough for at least 10 people to go through. Is he confident enough to take on 10 alone? Crazy bastard. Bluffing just because your level's a bit high, there's no point in me even watching. He'll fight for a bit and then run away." Jung-sik scoffed at Black Scythe and concealed himself behind a window on the second floor of one of the houses. Jung-sik peered out the window. He could see Black Scythe confronting the goblins. Black Scythe is the strong. When you reach level 16, do you gain that much strength? This isn't the time for me to be doing this. I have to hurry and raise my level to become stronger. About now, the fight between players and goblins will be fierce. I too need to get down now and keep goblins. After choosing the right moment, Jung-sik ventured outside and said, "Come here, you XP." Swiftly dispatched a passing goblin with a precise stab. For Jung-sik, dealing with a few goblins posed no difficulty. Thanks to the insight rune, he could predict their movements and dispatch them skillfully. Suddenly, a chilling sensation enveloped Jung-sik, prompting him to turn his head. An arrow grazed his cheek. Jung-sik's expression hardened. Since there were no goblins shooting arrows, it had to be a player. Jungsik said, "An arrow? I haven't seen a goblin that fires arrows. Then which bastard is it? Even if I don't know which bastard it is, just wait until you get caught." When he returned his head, the smiling flyer was squeezing the spear. In an instant, Jungsik closed the distance, catching the player. His dagger found its mark in the player's chest. Infecting a flurry of stab wounds, Jungsik pushed the defeated player away and lifted his head. At that moment, there was a player holding a bow reading another arrow. Jungsik said, "That bastard!" Then Jungsik threw the spear and hit his forehead. And he said silently, "To think I'd have to be more worried about players than monsters. If only I wasn't the region representative. This shitty region representative. If it were up to me, I'd want to hand it over to someone as well. Should I have just accepted Black Scythe's help? No, a man has his pride. I will never be his underling. There must be a solution, a way to hunt safely without having to be wary of players." At a moment, Jungsik noticed the name, Black Flame Dragon. He was ranked third in the area. A brilliant idea sparked in Jungsik's mind as he approached Black Flame Dragon. "Hey!" Black Flame Dragon, who was fully engaged in hunting, turned his head. "What? Whose?" In an instant, Jungsik's eyes glowed with purple light. It was that transformation that occurred when he used the command authority. And Jungsik said, "Black Dragon in my right arm." お前はもう死んでいる。